Hi, this is Francisco Dacera, Jr., and this is going to be my laboratory exercise for the basic switching concepts and configuration. So I do have, my computer is not able to download the packet tracer. So what I did is I do only do some sort of like an online packet tracer. So yeah, I'm quite sure that this is going to be working. So it's like an online services. So this is gonna be the console right now. And then according to exercises, so I need to configure the basic switch settings. Okay, so the first one is that I need to connect. Have to get the switch added here. Then just wait to be added. The second one is the computer. Okay, we're adding the computer right now. Okay, so then we just have to connect the device. So now by connecting a device, we need to select. We have to VLAN 1, the switch one is VLAN 1, the PC one is fast Ethernet 0. So I just have to submit it. Oh, it's not applicable. VLAN 1, so fast Ethernet 0. Let me try. It's now accepting. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just have to follow this what we call port 1 is you will set up the network topology and verify the default switches. So that's it. And then on of port 1, let me get back here. Using Cisco Packet Tracer, I need to launch it. So you can access all switch iOS commands in privileged exit mode. Access to privileged exit mode should be restricted, and password protection to prevent unauthorized use because it provides direct access to global configuration. So assuming that the switch had no configuration file stored in no volatile random access memory or NVRAM, you will be able to use at the user exit mode prompt on the switch with a prompt switch used to enable. So I'm now going to open a console for the switch one. I'm sorry, I just have to rename it first. Sorry, I need to rename it hit that device. So instead of, I'm gonna name it like S1 or switch 1. That's okay. Then the PC one, that's also fine. That's good. And let me open the console. So the first command line, it says switch enable. So I'm gonna type in enable, enter. So there's gonna be like a no switch. So it says here, note that the prompt change in configuration reflect privileged exit mode. So now examine the current running configuration. So I'm going to type in show running config, enter. Sorry. So if you are going to notice, that's gonna be the outcome. We have the version 12.1. Then that's it. The host name is switch. Then we had to go back to let's type in again. Okay, so let's type in show startup. So we just have to examine the configuration. We just have to type in show startup config. Earlier is running config, now shows startup config. and the result is this. So here you have to examine the startup configuration by NVRM. So startup config is not present, so it's correct, it's not present here. Then the answer, because there is no config yet saved in the startup configuration. Now we have to examine the characteristic of SV1 for VLAN 1. So we have to type in switch show interface VLAN 1. Have to enter, and the result is this. Yeah, that's the result. So the question, if there's gonna be like a question here, is there an IP address assigned to VLAN? The answer is, let me try to see. It's none. There's no IP address. So examine the IP properties of SV1 and VLAN 1. So now we have to type in show output interface VLAN 1. We just have to observe the output. So VLAN 1 is administratively down, line protocol is down, internet protocol processing disabled. So that's the one. Then we now have to examine the Cisco iOS version information of the switch. So type in switch, then show version, enter, and this is the result. So check the Cisco iOS version, the switch running. So this is the Cisco iOS version. There's this iOS. That's it. A Cisco 290 for CS290 LAN base. Then check the system image file name. Yeah, that's it. That's the result. Then examine the default process fast internet. Check the base MAC address on the switch. MAC address, switch. There is it. Revision processor ROM C2960. Then now then we have to after examining the iOS version, we have to examine the default properties of fast internet interface by BCE 1 of BCE1. Control V. Let me type it in. So typing in, this is the result. So check out the status of the interface. The status of the interface, switch half phase, that's it. Then show VLAN. Now check the MAC address of the interface. I don't see like a MAC address here. There is. The serial number, revision number. Okay, next we have to go to show the VLAN, examine the default VLAN setting of the switch. Let's have it like show VLAN. Okay, let's go back, sorry. Let's go back to switch. Show VLAN. This is the result. Show VLAN, observe the output. So that's it. We have the VLAN name, the default, the active FE01. That's it. So VLAN type. We have also the bridge number. That's the result. Then we just have to examine the memory. So we just have to type in show flash. So directory of flash we have a 64016384 bytes total, and also we have 5960143 bytes free. Then we have to switch for the IR flush as what the instructions here, and here's the result. 1 RW C2 nylon base, so it's gonna be the same 64016384 bytes total, 590161463 bytes. So now we have to go on the part 2, the basic configuration. So step 1, configure the basic switch settings including hostname, local password, MOTD banner, management address, and telnet access. So we have to go back. Then let's open the console. The first one is, now we go back to enable. Let's enable the switch. So first is to type in to enter a global configuration mode, we have to type in configure terminal. So this is the result. Enter configuration mode 1 per line in with C Control Z. So then enter configuration command 1 per line. That's the result. That's correct. In fact, now assign this the switch host name. So we just have to type in host name, and the result S1 configure 1. We have to configure the password encryption. So we have to type in S1 config service password encryption. Then type in configure passwords is password configuration. Assign the hostname done. Then we just have to assign the class. So we just have to put enable the class, enable the secret class. The result is correct. Then next is we have to prevent unaware DNS lookups. So enter. Then that's it. Now we have to go on to the configure and OTD banner. Type in stack. So invalid. So enter text with character. It's correct. So unauthorized, because those like at sign, or like pound sign is not accepted. So we have to vary exit by moving between modes. So we have to type in exit. Yeah. So SYS5 config, I configure some console by console. So S1 so this is the result, the S1. Now let's go back. Let's open again the switch. So now we're gonna be like on the switch 1. So in S1 we have to type in exit. Okay, press return to get started. Let's go back. S1. So let's go back then. That's it. So which shortcut keys are used to go directly from global configuration mode to privileged exit mode? That's coming Control Z. So, Control Z. Now let's go to S1. So go back to the privileged exit mode. From user exit mode, enter a class as a password when prompted. S1 is to type in enable. The password is, it says here that I type in the enter class. So I type in class, then now S1. So no, the password does not display when entering. So enter the configuration mode to the set as VIP address and switch to remove a remote management of the switch. Before you can manage S1 remotely PCA, you must assign switch IP address to default configuration of switch and management of switch controlled through VLAN 1. Or the best practice basic configuration management VLAN to VLAN other VLAN 1. Then let me see. So first we have to create a VLAN 99, create a new VLAN 99 on the switch. This setup, then set the IP address to switch 92 with a terminal subnet mask of 255.255.255.0.0 on the internal virtual interface of VLAN 99. So we have to type in S1 configure terminal. So enter configuration terminal 1 per line with control Z. So we have to type in VLAN 99 config VLAN underscore. We have to type in exit, then upon line down protocol change state down. So let's type in, this is the IP address 192.168.1.2.255.255.255.0. Let's enter what happened. So it's detect and it's valid. No shutdown. This is the result, still invalid. So we have to exit. Config console, so S1. Note that VLAN 99 interface is down. Instead, even true, you enter no shutdown. So that's it. So when you have to like enter the VLAN 99, it is not for anything because it was shut down. Then now we have to use reports VLAN 99. We just have to type in this. Let's have to enter this one. Interface range FO1-FO/1-24. Let's enter. So it's invalid still. Let's type in this. Switch port access VLAN 99. Let's enter. Still invalid. Sorry. Then you have to exit. Okay. So to establish connectivity between the host and switch, the port used by the host must be in the same VLAN as the switch. Notice in the output of the VLAN 1 interface goes down because none of the ports are assigned to VLAN 1. After a few seconds, VLAN comes up because at least one active port FO-6 with PC1 attached is now assigned to VLAN 99. So issues how VLAN brief command verify all the user ports in VLAN 99. So let's try this one. Let's go back. Let's go back here. Let's type in show VLAN brief. That's the result. The default is active, and there's a lot of VLAN here. 99, VLAN 0099. This is the result, correct. Then now we had to configure the IP address IP default gateway for S1. If no default gateway is set, the switch cannot be managed from a remote network. That is more than one router way. It does respond to ping from remote network. Although this activity does not include external IP gateway, assume that you will eventually connect the LAN to a router external access. So we just have to type in this one. Let's see what happened. Sorry, prof, I'm just like copying paste this one. I'm trying to find out what seems to be happening. S1 slash config, no, a hashtag config t. Let's result, it's invalid. So let's type in this time. IP default gateway 192.168.1.1. It's still invalid, so we just have to console port access should also be restricted. So the default configuration is not allow all console connection with no password needed. To prevent console messages from interrupting commands, use the logging synchronous. So let's go back because the console got out. So let's type in this. Let's see what happened. It's still invalid. S1, type in password Cisco. Let's type in this one. Still invalid. Login synchronous. We have to type in exit. Let's return to get started. Now I just have to configure the password. So S1 config still not. Sorry. Let me try and it's not detected. Still. Now let's gonna move on to step 2. Configure an IP address on PCA. So we have to go back to the packet tracer. So double click the PC for the gateway. So let's double click the PC and then this is what happened. Click fast internet. Fast internet. Oh no, this is not. The connect device. So we have to gateway. Okay, what happened? It's not working now. It's loading. Let me go back. So connect device. It says here interface. Let's go back. Let's delete this. Okay, we have to put the fast internet 0 on the left side. Already fast internet 0. I think that's already fast internet 0. It's in the right corner. Now let's open the console. Open the console. A sample configuration displays here. The settings you configure highlighted in yellow. The other configure setting iOS default. So S1 show run. It's not. Building configuration, current configuration 200 to 160 bytes. Let's type in again. Still invalid. So okay, so that's all of my laboratory exercise 1. I'm so sorry I was not able to complete it well, but hoping that I point what we call some of those this correct one. Then yeah, I found it good because I just followed the steps, and yeah, that's for my laboratory exercise number 1 for my configuration, or what we call in the basic configuring the basic switch settings. Bye.